CTV Calgary, local breaking news.
Good afternoon. City crews continue work to replace a water main that burst over the holidays in northwest Calgary. And as people return to work and school, the city is urging us to conserve water. The city says the break in the Bears Paw South feeder main has reduced Calgary's water capacity to 40%, and water use spiked to unsustainable levels over the weekend. Emergency officials said 495 million liters of water are being used each day. We need to be using about 485 million to be considered sustainable. Calgary's mayor warns the shortage of water could be life-threatening as it may affect fire crews' ability to fight fires.
So we will spare no expense. We will do this faster than anything we have ever done before, so the Calgarians will never have to worry about something so fundamental as clean, safe drinking water ever again on our watch for the next 100 years.
One lane of traffic on 16th Avenue eastbound has reopened. The feeder main has now been pumped, drained, and the damaged section cut for replacement. The city says crews should have the remaining repair work finished within the next 2 weeks. One man was injured after a motorhome went up in flames in Falcon Ridge early this morning. Emergency crews were called to the vehicle parked on Falworth Way. It was well away from houses along the north side of the road. Crews used suppression foam to put out the fire, which was burning very hot. One man was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The cause of the blaze is under investigation. The town of Taber has released new footage showing the moment of the explosion at their arena. It damaged the walls, roof, and gas lines, shutting the building down indefinitely. The town shared the video as part of their entry for the annual Hockeyville campaign, where communities receive $50,000 for upgrades and renovations. The recent seizure of Venezuela's leader by U.S. forces is sending shockwaves around the world. Calgary's Venezuelan community is celebrating the removal of Nicolas Maduro, but is concerned about what comes next. As the South American nation sits on a large oil reserve, experts say this will likely have an effect on Alberta's energy sector. Stephanie Thomas reports.
Josue Ramirez moved to Calgary from Venezuela 20 years ago and has organized numerous rallies about ongoing political strife back home. On Saturday, the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, and his wife were taken in a military operation ordered by the Trump administration.
We are happy that Maduro is out. Maduro was a cruel dictator, a cruel human being.
He is calling on the Canadian government to support regime change.
And after we have a new government and a new system in Venezuela, I'm hoping and I'm expecting that the Canadian government will support the rebuild of democracy in Venezuela.
However, Canada's former ambassador to Venezuela says a lot can happen before the chaos is calmed.
More violence, another wave of American attacks. We would hope, I think, as Canadians, and I know Venezuelans do, that there might actually be a transition to democracy, which so far Trump appears to oppose.
In a news conference to celebrate the military action, President Donald Trump claimed the U.S. would run the oil-rich nation. Alberta energy watchers say that begs more questions than answers.
What's going to happen in the oil market? Will production go up? Will it go down? How long will it take for a government there to be able to look legitimate, so that investors would be willing to invest in Venezuela again?
Masson also said supply remains high in the oil market, so prices likely won't move much. He also says increasing capacity of the Trans Mountain expansion pipeline will help Alberta's resources get to Asian markets, especially if the United States is focused further south. Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
After decades of lighting up Calgary, the chair of the famous Lions Festival of Lights is hanging up his strings at the end of the season. 84-year-old Otto Silzer has been involved with the festival at the Confederation Park Golf Course since it was first launched. He's responsible for organizing the massive group of volunteers, leading the planning committee, designing the event's course, and handling donations. This year's Festival of Lights ends on January 8th. Following that, Silzer will retire.
I'm not getting any younger, and we started this display 39 years ago. Little did I know that I'd still be here. 3 people, or maybe even 4 people, have come forward now to make sure that this display continues on into the future. So we're happy with all the efforts that have happened.
To learn more about volunteering for the iconic display, visit lionsfestivaloflights.ca. Thanks for joining us. We'll have more on the top stories coming up on CTV News at 5 and 6 or anytime online at ctvnewscalgary.ca.